So you're there, right? That feeling hits. You're going to be a parent, and suddenly you realize, wow, there's no actual manual for this.
No instruction booklet. No, it's this huge life change, and it can feel pretty uncharted.
Yeah, like you're supposed to just know how to handle this massive responsibility.
Exactly. And it's not just any responsibility. It's a whole other person's life, their well-being. It can feel overwhelming right from the get-go.
Totally. And that's actually why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We've been looking through parentingbrainstorm.pdf, trying to pull out the really key stuff.
Especially the things you can think about, maybe even start working on before the baby arrives, the foundational stuff.
Right. The goal is really to cut through all the noise, help you feel a bit more prepared, maybe a little less like you're drowning in advice.
And we're kind of using the 80-20 principle as a lens here.
Ah, the Pareto principle.
Yeah. The basic idea that like 20% of the effort gives you 80% of the results. So focusing on a few key habits, practiced consistently. That's where the real impact is.
Rather than trying to do absolutely everything perfectly.
Exactly. It's about finding those high-leverage actions for both the child's good and, frankly, your own sanity as a parent.
Okay, so this is like a shortcut to the essentials. We're pulling out the nuggets from this document, the things that build those core habits and mindsets.
That's the plan, building a solid foundation.
All right, let's jump in. Where does the document suggest starting? What's foundational, even before day one?
Well, right at the core, it talks about connection and bonding. Building those habits, even thinking about them now, sets the whole tone.
And it mentions some really almost simple-sounding things like dedicated one-on-one time every day, even just 15 minutes once the baby's here.
It sounds small, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that focused time, truly present time, without your phone or other distractions.
That sends a powerful message.
A huge message. It says, you matter, I'm here for you. And it's not just the time, it's how you spend it. Active listening, real eye contact, physical affection.
Those nonverbal things, they build trust.
Immensely. They create that feeling of safety and security.
And then rituals and routines, bedtime, meals, that kind of thing. Why is that consistency so important for connection?
Well, think about it from a child's perspective. Predictability equals security. Knowing what comes next helps them feel safe. It reduces anxiety.
Okay, it creates a stable little world for them.
Exactly. And those shared rituals, they become these positive little anchors in the day, building shared memories, a family rhythm. It's powerful stuff.
That makes sense. Building that connected foundation first. Okay, so let's move on to something that I know worries a lot of soon-to-be parents. Behavior, discipline.
Right. And the document frames it really helpfully, I think. Not just as rules, but as another way of building that healthy relationship.
Guiding, not just punishing.
Precisely. It talks about clear boundaries, sure, but with loving enforcement. So firm, consistent, yes, but also kind, understanding.
And I mentioned something about rewards, gamifying life. How does that work alongside rules?
Yeah, it's an interesting angle. It's about shifting some focus towards positive reinforcement. So instead of only focusing on don't do that, you're also actively encouraging the behaviors you do want to see.
Okay, so like noticing the good stuff more.
Exactly. And maybe setting up simple systems like a sticker chart for a toddler getting ready in the morning. It's not about bribes necessarily, but about acknowledging effort and making cooperation feel, well, rewarding.
It taps into that positive motivation.
Which is often much more sustainable in the long run.
And offering choices, within limits, of course. That seems smart.
Oh, definitely. It gives the child a sense of control, of agency.
Reduces power struggles, maybe?
Often, yeah. Instead of put your coat on, it's, do you want the blue coat or the red coat?
Hey.
They still have to put a coat on, but they get a say. It respects their growing need for independence.
Okay. Now, this point really hit home for me. Kids mirror you more than they listen. Oof.
It's profound, isn't it? And it's backed up by so much research. They're constantly watching us, how we handle stress, how we talk to others, how we manage our own emotions.
So if I want my kid to be calm, I need to model being calm. Easier said than done sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right.
But it's the most powerful teaching tool we have. Our actions, not just our words.
And related to that positive focus, catch them doing something right and praise it.
Yes. It's so easy to fall into the trap of only reacting when something goes wrong, but actively looking for the good, the effort, the kindness.
And calling it out.
Right. It builds their self-esteem, shows them what you value, and reinforces that behavior way more effectively than constant correction often does.
Okay, that's a really helpful reframe on discipline. More about guidance and connection. So let's talk practicalities. Time and routine, creating that supportive structure.
Structure is key. That predictability we mentioned, it's huge for kids' emotional well-being. The document talks about anchor routines.
Anchor routines, like
Yeah,
the non-negotiables.
kind of. Like the morning routine, the bedtime ritual. These predictable points in the day that anchor everything else, they provide stability.
And preparing the environment. What does that involve, practically speaking?
It's about setting things up for success. So maybe having toys easily accessible where you want them to play, or creating a calm down corner, a quiet space.
Making the desired behavior easier.
Exactly. Reducing friction, removing unnecessary triggers for frustration, thinking ahead a little bit.
And transitions, giving those 5-minute warnings. That seems like such a small thing.
But it can make a huge difference. Kids often get really absorbed in what they're doing. A little heads up gives them time to mentally shift gears.
Respects their focus a bit.
Yeah, it reduces that abruptness that can lead to meltdowns. It's just a respectful way to manage those shifts between activities.
Okay, and then there's one for us, the parents. Scheduling downtime, actually putting it on the calendar.
Oh, this is critical and so easily overlooked when you're in the thick of it.
You feel like you should always be on.
But you can't pour from an empty cup, right? The document is clear. Recharging isn't selfish. It's essential for being the patient, present parent you want to be.
You need that energy reserve.
Absolutely. Burnout is real. Taking that break helps you show up better.
Makes total sense. Okay, another cornerstone. Communication. Specifically, empathetic communication.
Yes. How we talk to our kids shapes so much. The document gives great examples, like instead of just saying calm down, which rarely works.
Right, it usually makes things worse.
Exactly. Saying something like, I'm here for you, or I see you're upset, it validates their feeling without necessarily condoning a behavior.
It connects instead of dismisses.
Precisely. And helping them identify feelings. I'm feeling sad because, and then validating it. That makes sense. It's okay to feel sad.
That builds emotional intelligence, right? Giving them the words.
Huge. It teaches them that emotions are normal, understandable signals, not things to be scared of or suppressed. It's a lifelong skill.
And I liked the idea of collaborative problem solving. Let's figure this out together.
Yeah, it shifts the dynamic.
Yeah.
You're a team tackling a problem, not just the boss laying down the law.
Fosters cooperation.
And teaches valuable problem-solving skills. Even simple things, like saying thank you for helping, even if the help wasn't perfect, encourages that effort.
It's about acknowledging the intention. Okay, these are really practical communication tips. Now, thinking longer term. Fostering growth.
Yeah.
What does the document suggest there?
A big one is fostering independence. Letting them try things, even if they struggle a bit, even if they fail sometimes.
Ooh, that's hard. The instinct is to jump in and fix it.
Totally.
Mm.
But resisting that urge allows them to learn resilience, problem solving,
Yeah.
that sense of accomplishment when they do figure it out. It's huge.
Failure is part of learning, within reason.
Within a supportive space.
Yeah.
Yes, it teaches perseverance.
And encouraging curiosity.
Yeah.
Answering all those why questions.
Oh, the why phase. Yes. Engaging with that curiosity, even doing simple experiments together that fuels a love of learning.
Shows their questions are valued.
Exactly. It keeps that natural spark alive.
And circling back to emotional literacy, but also including our emotions.
Yeah.
Talking about how we feel.
Yeah, in an age-appropriate way, of course. Saying something like, Mommy's feeling a bit frustrated right now. I need a quiet minute.
It normalizes emotions for them. Shows everyone feels things.
And it models healthy self-awareness and regulation.
And finally, teaching repair. How to apologize, how to make amends when things go wrong.
Such a vital life skill for all relationships, not just childhood. It teaches accountability, empathy, how to mend connections.
Moving from blame to resolution.
Exactly. How to fix things when you mess up.
Okay, this covers so much ground for the child, but now parental sanity, this feels incredibly important.
It is incredibly important. You can't do any of this other stuff effectively if you're running on fumes. The document really stresses building a village.
Your support system, don't try to do it alone.
Absolutely not. And it emphasizes doing it proactively. Don't wait until you're desperate.
So even before the baby comes, reaching out.
Yeah. Connect with friends who are parents. Look into local groups. Talk to family about specific ways they could help. Build those connections before you're sleep-deprived and overwhelmed.
Identify your potential support crew.
Exactly. Practical help, emotional support, just someone to vent to. You need different kinds of support.
And knowing your own triggers, and actually taking breaks.
Yes. Recognizing when you're getting overwhelmed, what sets you off, and having a plan to step away for a few minutes, it's not weakness.
It's self-preservation.
And it protects the relationship with your child, allows you to respond more patiently.
And this one, I need this tattooed somewhere. Let go of perfection. Aim for good enough and consistent.
Ah, yes, we all do. The pressure for perfection is immense and totally unrealistic.
And counterproductive, probably?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Consistency in warmth, in boundaries, and showing up,
Yeah.
that's what matters.
Yeah.
Not some flawless performance. Give yourself grace.
Good enough, consistent. Okay. And laugh. Find the humor.
Please. Yes. Parenting is inherently absurd sometimes. Laughter can diffuse so much tension, reconnect you, and just make the hard moments a bit lighter.
Find the funny in the spilled milk, eventually.
Eventually. Sometimes it takes a minute.
So, wrapping this all up from the document, it really feels like preparing for parenting is way less about the crib and the stroller and much more about this internal work, doesn't it?
It really does. It's about our own self-regulation, building that support network now, establishing these mindsets and habits before the chaos hits.
And that idea of parenting as a mirror, that what we work on in ourselves gets reflected.
It's a powerful concept. The consistency, the patience we cultivate, the way we handle stress, the relationships we build. That's the environment our child grows up in. That's what they absorb.
So it's challenging, obviously, but also transformative for us, too.
Oh, incredibly. It pushes you, stretches you, but it also brings out strengths you didn't know you had. Compassion, resilience, humor, hopefully. It's growth for everyone involved.
So the final thought from this deep dive, maybe the most freeing one, it's not about being perfectly ready for everything.
Not at all. It's more about cultivating a willingness.
A willingness to just try.
Yeah, a willingness to learn as you go, to reflect, definitely to ask for help, and just keep showing up with love, with intention, even when it's hard.
That willingness. Maybe that's the most important preparation there is.
I think it might be. That commitment to the journey, however it unfolds.
So for everyone listening, maybe the question isn't, am I ready, but am I willing? What does that willingness look like for you right now? Something to think about.